Welcome. I hope everybody is having an awesome day. I am Shalisa, and this is our February cooking clinic. And I am delighted to have all of you join me today. Today, we are going to learn a little bit more about pressure cooking and what it takes, why it takes, and we'll cook a few things along the way, just as some examples for you. If you are wondering if a pressure cooker is for you, this is also a good class, so you don't have to have one. I'm going to be featuring our Pampered Chef quick cooker, but do know that what I'm going to tell you is common across all pressure cookers, but I will share some additional features on what's available in our quick cooker. So there you go. All right, so for pressure cooking, what I guess it's really good to understand right up front is that you are, it's things like the Instant Pot make you think that it's really fast. It's faster than your traditional cooking method, but it's not instant. And so it's important to have a good understanding of that because you want to be able to plan for that in your cooking. So when I first got my quick cooker, I'll show you guys here. Let me make sure it's in frame. It was delightful, but I didn't know what I was getting into. So I had to learn kind of what was happening and to understand the different phases of cooking. And so when you think about pressure cooking, there's a couple things that you want to pay attention to. One, you want to note that it has three phases for cooking. There's the pre-cook, which is typically it's heating up and it's building the pressure. And then you have your cooking time, and then you're going to have your depressurization. So those three phases are common, and no matter what type of pressure cooker you have, those are going to be common to you. You're also going to note that the size of the pressure cooker that you have makes a difference on how long it takes to come to pressure, as well as the what is it? Your altitude or elevation. And so you want to keep all of those things in mind because they all play a role in your cook time. So again, much faster than traditional cooking, but you still do need to allow for things like the coming to pressure and things like that to make sure that you are making the most of your time. So what we're going to put together today, I'm going to show you how to boil eggs, because that's a very popular question for pressure cooking is how do I boil my eggs? People always talk about how easy they are to peel when you use your pressure cooker. So I'll show you that. We're also going to have in here, we're finishing up right now, some shrimp and broccoli. And actually this is really fast, so it doesn't even have to come to pressure for me to be able to cook it. And so I'll show you that in just a minute as well. And then we're going to put together a roast and vegetables. And I'll show you how the quick cooker allows you to cook multiple things at a time. And I'll show you some tips for it along the way. So my first question to you is how many people are already cooking with pressure cookers? Anybody or has ever cooked before with your pressure cooker? Okay, cool. Thanks, Mary. Okay, tell me like what you make. What's been your favorite thing? Like it, love it, or either other questions that you might have as well. Love to know those. Okay, awesome. Hey, Lorna. Carlisa, you got a lot of gadgets in your kitchen that you're just not using, my friend, but that's okay because we're changing that 1 month at a time. So I feel like the pressure cooking, I really like it. I'm torn between that and the, that's why you're here. I love it. I'm always torn between this and the air fryer. I think the air fryer edges it out just a little bit, just from the reheating capacity alone. But pressure cooking is definitely a great way to go. So I'm going to show you guys really quickly some eggs that I actually prepared in the quick cooker a little bit before this class, probably about an hour or so ago. Eggs are really, really easy to do, and you really just need to be able to add in your water, your eggs. Typically, your pressure cooker will come with some sort of stand. It may be a stand that looks like this, or if you have a Pampered Chef quick cooker, or if you, now you use, I love it, that's great. Or you may have an egg holder, and this holds more than eggs. It can hold prep bowls, all kinds of things. But regardless of what you use, it's only going to take a few minutes in the pressure cooker to prepare your eggs. And so I put these in the pressure cooker at a custom time of 5 minutes. Now, depending on your pressure cooker, the size of it, it may need a few more minutes, probably not less, but a few more minutes, it could be the case. You could do up to 18 eggs actually in our stand here, which is great. This is our stackable cooking rack for the pressure cooker, which is great when you're making deviled eggs and things like that. So I put them in at a custom time of 5 minutes. Of course, it came to pressure, so it takes about 10 to 12 minutes to come to pressure, and then 5 minutes to cook. So I pull them in, take them out, so they're not hot anymore, but I'm still going to just drop them in. I always recommend that people use an ice bath, okay? And that is good just to go ahead and chill them right away because they're hot. You want to be careful, with your hands. So I drop them in an ice bath, usually just for a few minutes. Again, didn't have to do that today because we had a whole hour for them to cool off. But again, this is that stackable egg rack, and great tool, excellent. Again, you can use these for the eggs themselves. And you could do, if you wanted to make puddings or creme brulee or something like that, you can use our glass prep bowls, and they actually sit on here too. You can separate them so if you don't need both, you can take it apart, what have you. Just remember that these are hot when you take them out of the pressure cooker. So in order to grab the wire racks, you'll want to make sure you have something to protect your hands. Okay, so pull it out, and that way you're protected. Okay, so I'm going to take a look in here at our shrimp and broccoli to be able to show you. Just want to make sure the timing is right. Got 1 more minute. Okay, so those are all set to go. And what you'll notice on the pressure cooker for our quick cooker here, it actually does keep the food warm for you as well. So after it's done cooking, it'll start to count back up because it is now warming your food for you and making sure that it doesn't get cold. So that's great if you're cooking when you have to run out or something to the store. You can do that. It's still going to keep everything warm. So it is releasing pressure right now. You'll see that your pressure cooker will not open. It should not open while it is still pressurized. And so I think that's pretty consistent with any model, but you do want to make sure that it has naturally or it has either naturally depressurized or you have done it as a quick release. And we'll talk about the difference between those in just a moment, okay? So the mine is just about done. It's coming down, and we're gonna open it up and take a look and see what we've got there. The shrimp and vegetables, the shrimp were thawed out, although you could use them frozen from the bag and just drop them in. And then I used some frozen broccoli, but again, it was it had been sitting out for a little while. So I really only had to pressure cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes. But again, that's on top of that time that it takes to come to pressure. So I always want to make sure that we remember that because you need to factor that in. So it's still whistling and singing to me, which means it is now ready to open. Another indicator is there's a red button on top that you can't see here, but it's up when it's pressurized and then it drops when it's not. Yours should also have some type of indicator so that you know when it's depressurized, and that's when it is safe to open it, okay? For the quick cooker, you'll also know, you may have seen some steam coming out of the back here. A great safety feature for us, not when I'm standing behind it, but normally when you're cooking, it's gonna be facing you, is that the steam is away from you. And so whenever you're cooking with your pressure cooker, you wanna make sure that it's not underneath cabinets or things like that. The great piece about having the steamer faced away from us is that it's further from your face, so you're not getting that hot. We're not trying to do facials, so we wanna make sure it's nice and cool. Another great feature is that ours is also, you can pick it up. So while it's on, a lot of times in the past for some other different models from different companies, it's hot, so you can't touch it or you can burn your hands. But as you can see, now this base part is warm, yes, but the bottom is cool. So I can pick that up if I needed to move it, or if I needed to shift, which actually I did do because I was prepping here before we started, and then I turned it around so that you guys can see. So it's ready to go. I'm gonna pull these out so that you can see the shrimp and the broccoli. It smells really good, and we'll see what we've got. So, I'm gonna twist here, and you hear the little sound there. That's letting me know it is gonna open, okay? you want to go ahead and remove that top right away because that steam is going to be coming up. So you don't want to have your arms or anything resting over the steam that's coming out because it's going to burn, okay? So you want to be careful about that. Now, we are going to take these baskets out, and I'm going to show you this broccoli. It looks so good already. Savannah, would you mind getting me a plate? And again, I'm going to use a little mini pieces here, and I'll show you what they look like. Oh, these shrimp look good. Now, from frozen again or fresh, it's up to you. Frozen foods take a little longer for the pressure cooker to come to pressure. So you just want to realize that when you're cooking and be mindful of that. Thank you. Okay. And so if we look, these are our steam baskets. Pampered Chef sells these. They come in, and you get a 2-piece set in there. And then you can stack them and cook. So there's our shrimp. All right. And then here's our broccoli. Awesome. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop these or plate these up so that you can see what they look like. And then we're going to move right into our feature for today, which is our roast. And I'll show you how to prep it, show you some different features that you can use in your quick cooker. And then that'll be pretty much it. But if you guys have more questions, feel free to check in and answer or ask your questions. I will be more than happy to answer. Okay. All right. I've got my little trusty assistant here, Savannah, today. So she is always a delight. I appreciate her help. So I made some rice just as a little base for our shrimp and broccoli. I like this as well because you can do your little meal prep in your pressure cooker. You can still be cooking other stuff if you want. And this is all going to be ready to go. So what are you guys eating today? What's everybody having for dinner? Anybody cooking up something yummy? One thing I will say about the pressure cooker is it does, for seafood, I feel like shrimp in particular, it does seem to make a lot look like a little. So that is one note that you may not get as much out of it when you're cooking shrimp, or what you might want to do. I'm cooking 2 things at a time for display purposes, or also if you have small quantities that are needed. But if you needed to cook more, you could definitely just use the larger basket so that you could add in more shrimp. Okay. Okay. And so there is our broccoli, rice, and shrimp. And I used actually a new Pampered Chef seasoning called lemon garlic. So it is excellent. Trying to find the light there. There we go. And so I just sprinkled a little bit of this on, let it sit for a few minutes. That's it. Broccoli just has a little bit of salt and pepper on top. And rice, of course, is rice. Got a little bit of salt, a little bit of butter. And there we have it. And so that is our first dish. So the next thing that we're going to do is start preparing our roast. Now, for the roast and potatoes, we're going to use a couple of different tools, and it's going to be a process of searing, of cooking, and then, of course, we're going to pressurize and seal the deal. So when we are using our pressure cooker, we want to think about a couple of things. One, you have to clean it. Let me say, that's 1B. 1A is read the directions. I said same thing for the air fryer. This is our inner pot here. And this is going to be hot. So you want to make sure that you have something to protect your hands. But for your quick cooker, you want to make sure that you are reading the instructions and you know what to expect. It'll have guidance on your cook times and things like that. And so you want to make sure that you know what your pressure cooker needs to be successful. I will tell you now, I actually did go back and read today a couple of notes just to make sure I was tight on my instructions before I tried to teach y'all some stuff. So just know that that is important. And I'm just doing a quick rinse out here so that we can begin our next set of instructions. But that's number 1. Always read the instructions, okay? Without the instructions, you do not know what you're doing, and I can't help. Okay, I can offer some suggestions, but your pressure cooker is the best, and that guide is the best direction that you have. Okay, so I just did a quick rinse for this. Because you're cooking with water, a lot of times it won't have a whole lot in there. You can just do a quick rinse out, push the pressure on from your sink, and let it do the work for you. So we are going to actually hit cancel. We'll begin preparing the roast. And so we're going to make roast carrots, potatoes, which is one of my husband's favorite dishes to have. And we're going to make mashed potatoes versus just the potatoes in the pot with the meat. So here's how that works. A couple of notes for you when you're going to make roast or any other fish, anything else that needs to be browned, is that you want to brown that first. You can do that in your quick cooker. It should have, in your pressure cooker, should have a setting, something like sear or something like that. You want to use that setting. That's what I'm going to use in the quick cooker here to be able to brown that meat. And so you're browning that meat first, and then you're going to be able to add in the other items to complete the meal. And then that's when we set it to pressure. So we don't cook it first and then take it out and try to brown it. Because, well, even if you didn't try to brown it, things that are cooked in a pressure cooker, they don't really brown. So don't look for that. So what we want to do instead is brown on the front end and then be able to add our spices and everything in there and then bring it to pressure. That's going to give us what we're used to seeing. Okay. So anybody else out here, anybody a roast person? I like roast personally. You know, I have a thinly cut roast here. Love it. Okay, awesome. Good. I'm not by myself. So I have a roast here. I'll show this is one of our stainless serving bowls. Love these. And I seasoned it this morning and then just put the lid on it and put it in the refrigerator. And then I took it back out probably about an hour ago, because roast, sort of like steak, you want to cook them when they're about room temperature. You don't want to pull it out fresh from the refrigerator. You want to let it sit out a little bit. You season it up really good or really well, sorry, and then it's ready to go. So I've had it sitting out for a little while so it can kind of come back up to room temperature. And I'm going to put that in here with a little bit, probably about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to put it on the sear setting, okay? Am I eyeballing? Yes, I am. Judge me if you want. Okay, so I've got my olive oil in there. I'm going to set it to sear, and it's going to start to sear that meat. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay, for let's see here. Just checking my instructions. Yep. So we're going to hit for sear. I'm going to turn it on and let it heat up just a little bit. Oh yes, you are right. It does taste excellent made in the slow cooker as well. And that's another favorite of mine. So I don't know if you guys can see this too well, but because we got a little bit of sunshine going on here, but our quick cut cooker has lots of different settings on it. There are 16 settings, and I'm going to use the sear setting now, but there's also a steam, a slow cook, a proof setting. You can make rice in here as well, or other whole grains, like if you wanted to make your own oatmeal. There's also settings for chicken, beef or pork, seafood, soup stock. There's so many options here. Even dessert, you can make cheesecake. So, and also I've seen people make little berry cobbler cakes and things like that. So great choice. Okay, so I have the sear setting. Okay, and I'm gonna let the oil that I just put in heat up for just a few minutes. And then I'm going to add the roast on top and allow it to brown on both sides. Okay. All right. So while that's heating up, I'll share with you the other items that I'm going to add into the roast. I have some onions that I've sliced here. You need 1 medium-sized onion. This is a big onion, so I didn't need as much sliced up. You will also need some carrots. Okay. And then for your potatoes, you're going to use a Yukon Gold potato. Is one of my favorites to use. Makes great mashed potatoes, so that's my go-to. And with the potatoes, we're going to add in some garlic and some chicken broth, and that's it. So while that's heating up, I will show you what another piece that you want to have for your quick cooker. One thing that I do encourage everybody to invest in is an additional seal or ring for your quick cookers, because they will take on the odors of whatever you've been preparing. And what I mean by that, let's say you're making roast or something like that, and then you want to make cheesecake later. Well, you're going to wash these. I don't wash it every time, but every couple of times, yes. Okay. But you can actually switch these out, and you can have two different colors. It's even better, because you can remember one is for sweet and one is for savory, for example. But these rings are what help seal in the pressure in your pressure cooker. Okay. If that seal is not tight around, okay, let me take this one out so you can see what I'm talking about. If it's not tight around, it's going to take longer, and it actually will very likely not come to pressure. Okay. It can also make it a mess. So you'll want to make sure that you invest in a couple of these so that you can switch them out, you know. And again, I recommend having one for sweet and one for savory. We do sell these. They come in 2 packs. Of course, when you buy the quick cooker, it comes with one, so then you'll have 3. Okay. I'm just going to push this down in here. And you just want to make sure that you push down evenly so that it's all neat in there. I think when you remove these normally, it's also a great time to go ahead and clean everything out in there, just to make sure that your materials are clean. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add our roast in here and begin the browning. Oh, thank you, Lordy. Yes. Yeah, it's a great checkpoint for you to be able to take care and clean your quick cooker. And I'm going to put this roast in here. Tim is going to be so excited about this. Okay, and I'm going to let it cook on each side, probably for about 10 minutes total. Okay, so that's going to keep going. I put in my new seal so you guys can see that. Okay, and you see it, I don't know if you can see the little metal fittings around here, but it's tight around there. So that way when I seal it with the top on, now it's going to have that seal on the inside to help it come to pressure. Again, if you feel like it's not coming to pressure, most pressure cookers do come to pressure in about 10 to 15 minutes. But if you're getting into 20 and 25 and 30 minutes, that's defeating the purpose. So you might want to check and make sure that your seal or your ring is properly placed on the inside. Okay, so we've got that in there. That is ready to go. While that's cooking, a couple of other notes for your pressure cooker. Make sure that you know what size it is. So before you throw the box away or read the manual, you need to know what size. The quick cooker is a 6-quart pressure cooker. And so most of the recipes you see online, Pampered Chef recipes in particular, really good ones, are for a 6-quart pressure cooker. So just keep that in mind, okay? Now, if you have an 8-quart, that's like the mother of them, just understand that it will take longer to come to pressure. What else takes longer to come to pressure? I already talked about frozen foods as well. And also if you have, if you fill it past the capacity. So on the inside of the pot, there are markings that show you like, don't go past here. And really, you shouldn't go past there. So they're telling you what to do. You should follow instructions and make sure that you don't exceed that, because it's telling you already this is where it needs room for that pressure to begin to build around it to do the cooking for you, okay? So if you exceed that capacity, it's just going to delay the pressure coming. Now, no matter what size pressure cooker you have, it's good to know that the cook time, once it comes to pressure, should be about the same. Let me get another fork out here to get this out. So it should always be about the same cook time. It's really just about how long it takes to come to pressure. Should use a fork for this because the meat, of course, starts to brown and stick to the bottom a little bit. All right. There we go. All right. It moves very fast once it gets heated up. So that sear setting is perfect. It moves by quickly. Again, we're doing for about 10 minutes. So it's going to brown on both sides. And then we're going to take it out. And then we'll get the onions and the carrots and everything in there. Okay? All right. I laughed at myself today because I was like, you always say you forget your glasses, but you also forget your glasses every time. I don't have them on today either. So I'm looking at my iPad here with a bigger picture so I can see the recipe. We are going to use some crushed garlic in just a moment for our potatoes, and show you that really quick. So as I was sharing for the roast, we're going to cook two things at one time. We're going to prepare our potatoes as well as our roast and carrots all at once. And so the quick cooker comes with a ceramic pot there for you to use inside the quick cooker, and it has a silicone lid. This is great because it can stretch around. Okay. It's got a hole in the top if you wanted to use our instant read thermometer, for example, to check the temperature if you needed to do that. But it's also for the air to escape. Okay. So for our potatoes, we're going to add in 2 cloves of crushed garlic. And if you don't have a garlic press, you need a garlic press. I'm telling you, it's one of the best things. I use it all the time. You do not have to peel your garlic. You just press it and then pull the skin out. Okay. Let me get a nice yummy garlic mash. And then I'm also going to use a 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Okay. Let me put that off there. This does come with a little brush too. I just don't have it out today. Okay. And again, I'm going to just pull out that skin. No peeling needed. Bam, that's it. Okay. So I've got that in there. I'm going to pour my chicken broth over the top. Just lift our little roast here. Make sure we're doing all right. It's browning. I wish you guys could see in here. One day I'm going to figure out how to do this camera switch so you can see the different angles, but that's not what we have going on today. So, right. Great. And in just a moment, we'll pull this out, and then I'm going to add in our onion first, and then our carrots. We'll let the onions cook down for a few minutes, and then we'll add in the carrots from there, and then we'll put everything in, and we're going to stack it and cook it. And once we have everything in there, it really doesn't take long at all. We probably won't see the finished product on our time today, but of course I'm going to share pictures with you guys so you can see that. Okay? Just checking to make sure we got a good brown all around. Okay? Okay, looks good. Looks good. All right, and it smells good too. I did a little bit of salt and pepper, a little seasoning salt and pepper, and then I'm also going to add in a little bit of oregano and thyme. It's going to be so good. Very, very flavorful. And again, I love it in the slow cooker too, so I'm a fan. Either way, I just like roast. All right. I'm going to pull that out. And then we're going to add in our onions. Okay, we'll do about 2 more minutes, and then we'll move forward. Okay, got our chicken broth in here. Got our eggs on. I haven't forgot about the eggs. I'll be coming back to those. All right. We've got our carrots here. Got some fresh carrots. Again, you can use frozen, but remember, frozen means more time for pressurization. You can do, another note that I would share too is about frozen chicken. So if you have a pressure cooker recipe that calls for frozen chicken, use frozen chicken, because everything, the timing, everything is based on you using frozen chicken. If it's fresh, then you have to make some adjustments to that, and it doesn't always come out the same way. So I always say, whatever it's telling you to do, follow those directions, because whoever has put that recipe together is telling you to use or has prepared things a certain way. So if it says frozen, go ahead and do frozen. It'll be all right, okay? All right. I think we're doing great here. We're going to take this out and then drop our onion in. Once we drop our onion in, I'm going to put just a dash more oil in with the onion. I do need just a dash. And we're going to allow the onion to cook for about 4 minutes. And then after that, we'll add everything back on top of the onion. Okay? All right. What other questions do you guys have, or anything that comes to mind about pressure cooking? If you see anything that I'm doing that you have questions about, definitely feel free to ask. Oh yeah, that looks good. Looks good, looks good. All right, we'll take that out and there you go. Okay, so it's browned. All right, and now I'm going to add in my onion. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel because it's still on the sear setting. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to add in the onion and let it cook for 4 minutes. All right. And like I said, I'm going to add a dash of oil in here too. Let that cook up. And then while it's doing that, we're going to go ahead and close up our potatoes. Just moving the onions around in here a little bit. It'll cook a little faster. All right. Okay. So again, we have our potatoes here. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to them, and then close them up, and they'll be ready to go. Grab the salt here. We have to use our lay sea salt here. Okay. And then when these come out, we'll mash them up. I'll take pictures. I'll show you. It's going to be fabulous. Okay. Got those. Let's see. Got our garlic. We've covered it. Right. I think we're good. Let me just check on the chicken broth. So, and for the roast, we're going to use, instead of using water, typically for a 6-quart pressure cooker, you're going to add about a cup of water. For a 3-quart, it's usually about 3/4 cup. And for an 8-quart, again, the mother of pressure cookers, you'll probably use about 1.5 cups of water. You don't want to go crazy on the water. Just a cup is in the 6-quart is perfect, and even a little less. But I'm going to actually use chicken broth for this recipe. All right. Using one of our measure all cups. This is the 2-cup size. Love these things. It's good for wet or for dry. Okay. Stir up my onions in here a little bit. Let's see what else, other things that I want to make sure. Talk about the 3 cooking phases. Anybody remember what those are? 3 cooking phases. Anybody remember? One is the preheat. Then there's the cook cycle. And then the depressurization. All of those things are going to happen every time. The other thing I guess I would share too is I talked a little bit about the natural release for the steam. Oh, there you go, Lauren. I talked about the natural release when the pressure cooker is releasing steam on its own. And that is good if you're making soups. Our roast today is another great example, more sturdy foods. If it is something like vegetables or seafood, you'll want to make sure that you are doing a quick release. And the quick release, there should be a button on your machine. We have one too. I'll show you that. It's right here. And you can push that and it's going to spew out of the top. And so you just want to make sure, again, it should be away from you. This is where the steam comes out here. So you can do the quick release by pushing the button. And how do we know when it's all done? Because the red button should go down. Whatever your indicator is on your machine, that should come all the way down. And then that's how you know that it is depressurized and it is ready for you to open. Okay, so that's very, very important. Don't try to force it open. If it's not opening, 9 times out of 10, your machine is telling you is not depressurized yet. Okay, all right. So let's just check on these onions here. I think they're pretty good to go. Yep. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place everything back inside and I'm going to put everything on top of the onions. Okay. So I'm going to put the carrots first. All right. Add the chicken broth. What about the shrimp and broccoli? We already done with that. Are you asking, can you eat it? Oh, Savannah's got her eye already on the shrimp and broccoli, so I'm not sure if that's going to make it to the end, just to be honest. Okay. So we're also going to put the roast now back on top. Okay. And then we're going to use our stand that yours should come with. Everyone should have some sort of stand that comes along with it. And you're going to put this on top of everything. It's okay if it touches the meat because you're supposed to wash this too. Okay, so I'm going to put this inside here. Okay, and then I'll put the ceramic pot on top. We're going to close the lid and we're going to get this cooking. Now, again, I'll share the finished pictures with you guys when they're done, because this is going to, again, take about 10 to 12 minutes to come to pressure. And then we're going to cook it for, let's see here. How long am I going to cook it for? Oh, I'm going to put it on the pork setting. Okay. And then it will naturally depressurize. And then after that, I'll show you guys the finished product. So you'll have to check the event to see what it looks like when it's all done. But again, great to be able to cook two things at one time. One sort of pot meal, everything is in here and being prepared. So I'm going to put the lid on, set it to our beef pork setting, and there we go. And then all we have left is to show you what to do with those eggs once they come out. All right, and so again, I'm going to turn it to the, oh, that's a good question, Carlos. I did peel the potatoes. You don't have to, so it's really how you prefer your potatoes, but I like mine peeled. So I'm going to turn the dial to set it to the beef and pork setting. And again, remember there's 16 settings on here. So I'm going to change it to beef and pork. Okay, that's going to set the time for us, and it's going to go cooking away. And when it's all done, I'm going to have a great dinner. Okay, so pushing start there. That lets me know it's getting ready to do its thing and to leave it alone. Oh, I like, now for red potatoes, yes. For Yukon potatoes, I don't really care for it with the skin, but on red potatoes, you're right, it's yummy. Love it. Okay, so when we started, I shared with you that I had taken some eggs out. Again, eggs in the quick cooker should take about 5 minutes. I actually think in the quick cooker guide, it says longer than that. But again, you get to learn your machine. And what I have learned is that it does not take that long. Because again, it's going to take time to pressurize. And so for me, 5 minutes has been the right setting. You can do a custom cook time on your pressure cooker. You should be able to do that with yours as well. And so on the quick cooker, I can do a custom time, set it to 5 minutes. And then when they're done, they're perfect. Again, I took them out right before our show. I always recommend putting them in an ice bath to go ahead and chill them. You don't want to burn your fingers. And then we're going to peel them. And what I love is that they're super easy to peel. That's one of the best things about making your boiled eggs in the pressure cooker. And if you're somebody that likes to make deviled eggs or things like that, this is perfect for that, because you have pretty eggs. You don't want to have your eggs all beat up and have little craters and things in them. So this is perfect for that. So again, 5 minutes in the custom time setting, and that should give you just what you need. Just go ahead and peel off. Really easy to peel here. Okay, so you don't have to fight it with that extra film on the inside. Comes right off. You want to make sure that you do use a cup of water. Again, more than a cup. It's going to take longer to come to pressure. And then what you'll see is it takes a long time, and it finally does get finished with that 5 minutes. Your eggs are probably going to be a little bit, the shell will be a little bit burned on the bottom. So just keep that in mind, that you want to make sure that, that you don't add too much water, okay? But absolutely great way to cook for deviled eggs. Again, eggs are perfect. Okay, no No craters in there. Super easy to peel. One of the best ways that you can do this. All right. Okay. Let's see. Make sure I have touched on what I wanted to share with you all today. I think we talked about vegetables and seafood are really fast. So you want to use that veggie and seafood setting in here. You could do custom times as well, but I haven't seen a vegetable yet that took more than like 5 minutes. Our potatoes, because they're cooking with the pressure cooker and the roast and everything, it's a little different. But if you're just cooking veggies or cooking a seafood, it just takes a few minutes. So yeah, there's that. Okay. I love making the boiled eggs in here because I'm already terrible at peeling eggs. I don't know if anybody else tears up eggs, but I'm certainly that person. So this helps me make sure that they're nice and neat because the shells really just come right off. I've seen people that do this a lot more elegantly than I do, but nonetheless, I still get pretty eggs. So in the end, I'm with it, okay? So I've got them all in there just to wash away any extra shells. And then let's take a look and see what we've got. Eggshell there. All right. Cook to perfection every time. We're going to dance around the plate a little bit, but those eggs, those puppies are cooked. Okay. And I don't like eggs that are soft in the middle, so this is perfect for me. Great, again, for deviled eggs or salads and what have you. Again, 5 minutes does the job, and you should be all set. I did make some bacon just because I'm extra, so I like that. If we were having breakfast, you can prepare your eggs. If you're having a family breakfast or something, do your eggs in the egg cooker. Y'all know I like to make plates look pretty, so I'm just adding some bacon underneath here. And then I'm going to just slice and start making a little sunshine around the bacon. Make something to just dress it up a little bit. Why not? We've got half in there, and then I'm going to do the other half. Okay? All right. Other questions for you guys? All right. Well, I certainly hope that you have, this has been helpful and that you've been able to pick up a few tips along the way. I will share in our event page a link if you'd like to shop. You have all the way until the end of the month, which is next Sunday. Can you believe that? Oh, hey, Uncle Vincent. And then you can place your order if you'd like to order something or if you'd like to share it with a friend. And also let me know if you, oh, I had a question here. Do you preheat the water for the steamed eggs? No, I don't. I use fresh out of tap. It's not cold. It's just from the tap. Yeah, so no. Yeah, so if you'd like to place an order or share the link with somebody, I would love it if I'm going to post this video in the event too. If you would like to share that, I would appreciate it. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys have learned a lot. I really do enjoy using our quick cooker. This is a great base piece for anybody that's just starting out. Great for them to be able to do a lot of different things in one device. So I always recommend this. And yeah, I think that's just about it. So I'll share some pictures with you guys when the roast is done and you'll get to see the finished product. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have ideas for other classes or other topics that you're interested in, please do let me know. I would thank you so much, Lorna. I appreciate all of your support. And I also want to just show y'all, I'll show something real quick. This is my new little Pampered chef light. You can't see it that well just yet, but I love it. I'm going to figure out some really cool way to use it. So thanks, Kylisa. Thanks, everybody, for your time today. And that's all. This is Pampered by Shalisa. Have a great day.